Well, here we are again. Good evening, afternoon, morning, maybe, for wherever you may be in the world today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all those in between. It's that time of the week again for your midweek fantasy fix. And it's going to be a doozy. We've got a fantastic little panel today for a bit of a chill stream. We'll go for about an hour and a half. It is the return of the Wheel of Doom. And if I can get the Dungeon Delver to sit down and stop running around outside the green room, we might be able to get to it. But before we do, I am pleased to announce to all of you here, officially, for the first time, outside of a select few, the Lion's Seed has taken root. I'm going to be a dad. That's right. Vix is pregnant. Oh boy. Time to embark on the next great adventure. Oh boy. Anyway, on that bombshell, back to the studio. Only British people will get that reference. I need to bring in someone mildly British. Dean.
Oh, hiya, Jack.
How you doing, man?
Yeah, not bad. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm all right, mate. I'm all right indeed. I've been looking forward to tonight. I did my usual thing when I got home and passed the hell out.
Working too hard, mate. Working too hard.
Today, definitely, there was some incredibly high-value things that passed through my hands today, and I just find that stuff really stressful. Really stressful. But no, thank you, everyone. Thank you in chat. By the way, I did notice that we had the Dungeon Delver is T-posing over the chat to assert dominance, so perhaps we should just bring him into the chat.
Hey, congratulations, young man. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
You, with that joyous announcement, have completely disarmed all of the, you got a license to say that, governor, heat that would have come down on you with what I had planned to say. So all I will say is much love to you and Mom, and I hope you will bring that baby upright and let them know that sweet iced tea is the best tea. Just put a little in their bottle.
I'm just saying, he said T. He said T, the letter T, not D.
That's right.
Because of the way your mic is, it came across as D.
No. There's a little clip there. I'll move it back. But no, you just put a little bit in a bottle with their formula, and that'll. If you don't want them to nap during the day, you want them to have a good night's sleep, just give them a little bit of sweet Southern iced tea. There you go, bud.
We have another $5 dues. Paladin Steve says, for the crown, Steve, you're a paladin. You should not be playing Horde. You should be a human. And actually, this is something that I will be on your side with, Delver, is I think in World of Warcraft especially, paladins can only be human.
Lawful good humans,
Lawful
only
good humans
ever.
Deus Voltzer.
Deus Volt.
Stug says, sweet tea posing. Either way, I haven't actually said hello to people in chat, but I will do that once I've got the next person in. I suppose, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. A wizard is never late. He arrives precisely when he means to. It's Marinus.
Howdy, howdy.
How you doing, my friend?
I am doing well. It's been a while since I visited, so I decided to stop by.
Indeed. Every now and again,
and
you
I
come
also
back
agree
to renew the grandest champion title, so it doesn't slip from your fingers.
It's true. You threatened me, so I came back. You bullied me into being here, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. And I absolutely agree with you and Bill. Paladins are only humans, and they're only lawful good.
Asterix in World of Warcraft.
Damn right.
Oh, look! There she is. She is indeed still modwifing, even though the morning sickness has kicked her ass today.
For a second, I thought that said midwifing, and I was like, wait a minute. That's
wrong way around.
To do that.
Right, before we get into the saying hello to everyone in chat, someone else who might be able to tell us a thing or two about morning sickness. Hi, Alyssa.
Yeah, Vix, I am so sorry. I just I just got through that phase myself. It was awful. Like, it's terrible. But before we get into all this like fun magic and stuff, my sister said that if you monitor your blood sugar and do smaller meals instead of larger ones throughout the day, that can the blood sugar being a little bit more steady can help with morning sickness. So trying that might help out a little bit, like smaller snacking rather than large meals. So potentially, but
perhaps indeed. Yeah, Alyssa glitches every time she's on the show.
yeah, no. Everyone knows I am secretly William Dafoe in a wig, so one day I will be revealing that to all of you. It's going to be a little awkward to the husband, but I think you'll understand.
You know, I'm something of a science fiction author myself.
We all know women aren't real on the internet. But for right now, I'm posing as the Harmony Ginger at home.
Can we get Harmony Ginger?
In a row, she'll appear, I think.
Yeah, we have Harmony Ginger at home. Which reminds me, I need to touch up the redhead a little bit. We
have another $5 dues from Paladin Steve. WoW doesn't have paladins; they have fighters with levels in cleric.
You know, I think if you guys are going to make that trip down to my neck of the woods, and we are going to see Harmony, Alyssa, I should just get a red fright wig. Just so
no, it's gonna be exciting. I'm gonna be very pregnant rolling up to you guys. Rolling being the operative word at that point.
Yeah.
I will be 7 months pregnant in Florida.
You'll step into the restaurant 5 minutes before you step into the restaurant.
Basically. But I think it'll be a good old time, and I'm kind of glad I'll get to do that before the baby comes, because who knows how much I'm going to be traveling
right
at that point. But it'll be good.
Allow me.
Cheesecake. Sorry.
Cheesecake. I like cheesecake. We have first in chat today was the brothers Kryn, who is actually working at the moment on an audiobook series.
I thought you said he was at work right now, and I'm like, Kryn.
This is more important. Kryn, go ahead and drop
I'm at work
the
right
link
now
to your audio fiction in the chat, sir. And everyone should definitely go and give that a click, give that a subscribe, and watch it as soon as you're done here, or listen to it as soon as you're done here. It is excellently made. We have, of course, Mr. Daniel Rowan is in the chat with the bronze medal. Thank you very much, sir. Who else have we got? We've got someone whose name is in Russian. I can pronounce the other one. Kanyapa, welcome. Not seen you around before, I don't believe. We've got one of the brothers. Bad Toad is here. Ashray here, threatening to steal my unborn child to raise it as a wizard in the Underdark. I might just let that happen. Stug is here. Kairi is here. Welcome. Kanek. Hello, Kanek. Oh, wow. Vicky is in chat. Hello, Vicky. We're still going. Lucent Dacia. Hello, sir. Thank you very much. We've got a full house and an active chat already. I'm still scrolling. Here we go. Right. Doom approaches you. The Thulsa. Do you know when you watch the Conan film?
Yes.
Hello, Damien. And you consider this on the Tree of Woe. Man, we lost a true talent when he passed. He and Christopher Lee are probably two of the only actors I ever really recognize. Right. You don't have to. $5 dues from Marinus himself. Some dollars your way since you have my favorite guest on again. Is your favorite guest you?
Absolutely. The most elite player on the panel.
Dragonlance is cringe. I still need to read the last book, The Dragons of Spring Dawning. I've been reading Conan lately because I've been falling asleep a lot, and Conan is... You can get through more of it in less time. Does that make sense? So I find that I've at least finished a story before I fall asleep. And I hate being an adult.
That's why I've been going to shorter books for the past couple of months, just because, especially with the baby, like it's like, okay, 7 o'clock, I'm falling asleep. So
yeah,
just something that I can get through like a chapter or two or that kind of thing.
I had a nap before the show. That's how bad it is.
I have a nap every day. I enjoy the hell out of it.
Yeah, but you're twice my age.
Well,
All right,
no.
look.
All
Shall we bring out the wheel of doom?
Yeah.
Here we are. The wheel of doom. We got quite a lot.
Oh,
This
good
is-
lord! I can barely. That is
Oh.
huge. I'm looking for.
That's for ants.
Look,
man.
it's a grower, not a shower. Okay, give it a minute.
Mhm.
I can maybe do this. That makes it smaller. Right, I am going to
Oh,
spin the wheel, and we will land on a topic or question. Some of these are from other people in our sort of communities that I message. Some of these are from audience members on X and through Discord. Some of these I asked some of you guys for, and some of these are my own. So we've got a good mixture of things here, and we're going to just sort of take some time to talk about them. There's no rush. There's no time limits, really. We're just going to see how far each one takes us. But as I spin the wheel, I require everyone to say doom. So here we
Okay.
go. The wheel is spinning.
Dude.
There you go. You all nearly failed. And it is Dungeon Delver.
Jeez, I saw it on there, and I'm like, it's got like a 1 in 110 chance. I'm not sweating this at all. What
Go
do
ahead.
Oh wow. Okay, so it is kind of fortuitous that it did tick over to this, because I have just finished some revisions and some patchwork. Some excellent folks out there using the program daily caught some edge case issues. So I have spent the last couple of days down in the code mines hacking out code. But Crom, what can I say? Character record organizational manager, and if you're playing first edition AD&D, there is no better tool for the creation and advancement and maintenance of characters for your 1E game. It does it all. You can create bards, druids. It will check for psionics if your DM wants it to check for psionics. Dual class, multi-class, demi-humans. It is 100% feature complete and 100% rules compliant. I feel like I am giving a commercial for it, though.
That was the idea.
That was the idea. Okay, all right. So that's it, and I have poured my heart and soul into it. And I will tell you right now, if anybody in the live stream wants to buy a copy of Crom, right now, while this stream is going, if you ping me on social media and put in Jack, that is the discount code, $5 off right now.
Ooh.
So you can get $5 off Crom,
Fancy.
$20 for a way not just to create characters, because you can create characters to your heart's content with little applets and stuff like that all over the web, but you cannot manage your characters. Did your character get level drained because they did the horizontal mambo with that succubus in the Catholic schoolgirl outfit? Then this will take off levels, and it will properly reduce their hit points, their abilities. Has this character been playing for so long that they've celebrated enough birthdays that it could potentially change their stats, or maybe they saw a ghost and it tacked 40 years onto them? Then the program can handle the aging for you. You can buy and sell gems and jewelry at the 20% off of retail, as listed in the Dungeon Master's Guide. If you create a high level,
say feature complete, you mean feature complete.
I mean feature complete.
There is a question for you, sir.
Home rule compatibility. So I get asked that question a lot. Here's the thing. If I accounted for everyone's house rules, or even left it open for everyone's house rules, I would never be done writing it. I would never be done bug fixing it. So if you've got something house ruley, the good news is it will save in either HTML or to text. You can just go in and edit those files as you see fit to add to add stuff in. So
It's okay. Homebrew's for losers anyway, so you're
that's
just fine.
right. Raw rules as written. But anyway, so Jack, if you want to put my email address up there, That is the best way to contact me
I
about
don't
getting
have that prepared. What is your email address?
bsylvie@gmail.com.
Here's where I can't remember how to spell your last name. Silvey?
You got it. Got it.
Yeah, gmail.com, like that.
Yes.
That's
no,
the
no dot. Just
no dot.
F-I-L-E-Y.
Ignore that. It's this one. Not silvery. Bloody hell! I use the word silvery so often in
That's
descriptions and things. It just
there you go. That's it.
Use that email. Use code Jack, which I appreciate, by the way, because now I feel included. And
You are
get
quite
$5
welcome.
off.
$5 redos off.
Indeed. So we are now going after the Crom Experience. There we go. That's a bit larger. It's the next spin. You know, this was the. I can't believe this came up first.
Wait, is this rigged?
I don't know. You tell me. All right. So now we're gonna hide that choice because we've done it. Ready? Go. Dean gets extra points for leaving the chant there.
Oh, thank you.
Oh God.
Oh.
It depends what you set the oven to.
I think
well
that kind
done.
of settles the argument.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
well, very funny. We'll go down the line. Delver, we started with you, so we'll end with you on the last one.
That's fine.
We'll
That's
go up.
absolutely okay.
I really like elves. I don't think there's ever enough elves of any type, variation, etc. I love my elves. I thought, that's probably quite obvious considering all the elf that I post. Dean.
Yeah, I don't think elves are overdone. They come in all shapes and sizes, from sci-fi to fantasy. Yep, anything elf-like, fantastic, love it.
Nice and short and sweet. Alyssa.
Sometimes I do sometimes I do like a break from the super high fantasy where there's like every flavor of elf is available in the world. Sometimes I like it when elves are more like unique and mysterious, especially because they're so long lived that it's odd to come across them. But I also think that there's just a lot of different avenues for fantasy now, so I mean there's enough out there that I can enjoy my lower fantasy kind of energy, and someone can still have their elf of the week kind of energy in their game. So
Elf of the week, elf of the day. There's loads of them.
So like personal preference, I prefer like when they're kind of like more like mysterious and kind of
Lord of the Ringsy.
not quite that, but like you don't throw a rock and hit 5 of them.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah, I got you. What about you, Mr. Marinus?
Are songs overdone? Is beauty overdone? There's always room for more of these things in the world. Always. It's what brings life to life. You can't live without beauty and song, and that's what elves are.
That.
Wow, now I sound like an elf simp. I'm not sure I
was a
like that.
fantastic,
Yeah, elves are overdone.
Fantastic answer. I'm going to clip the hell out of that, and I'm going to make sure everyone knows how much you love elves.
Sam.
That's fine.
No, honestly,
I'm okay
on
with
a
that.
serious note, very good answer. That was a very wizardly answer, and I'm sure that the other wizard, the crazy wizard, the Delver, will have something just as poignant to say.
Well, I think that in tabletop, in classic forms of D&D, I think elves are absolutely magnificent. You hoe a hard row when you play an elf. You have a broad but somewhat more shallow selection of options when you play an elf in AD&D, or even more so in OD&D or in basic D&D. Even with the various types of elves. And when it comes to fantasy lit, I prefer the Noldor as presented by Tolkien, of course.
Have you ever listened to the Blind Guardian song, Noldor?
I have not. I'll be honest.
Noldor, blood is on your hands. Oh, no, it's fine.
But I liked the sort of distant and aloof elves, but still in their hearts, at least towards the end of the Third Age, very noble, very very kind to the younger races for the most part. Thranduil's little irritation with the dwarves and men notwithstanding. What can I say? I absolutely love it. I think they got so watered down in third edition, probably started in second edition, and then of course it's just they've been completely supplanted. I guess tieflings are the forehead of the week du jour in D&D these days. But yeah, I mean, I kind of gotta lean hard on Marinus there, you know. Can you have too much beauty? Can you have too much poetry? I think elves are fantastic. I don't like the tendency in some other fantasy works to make them into humans with pointy ears.
I agree. In fact, I very much like the way Marinus put it myself. We have a super chat. But before I get to the super chat, I wanted to give a special hello to my buddy Q-Bones. Hey, buddy. I didn't think you came to these. I've known him for about 20 odd years at this point. Right. Stug says Noldor is the third song on that album. That's a man who knows his Blind Guardian. The thing is, whenever I go to the pub and there's this jukebox here, Blind Guardian gets put on, and I always choose the longest songs so I get the most bang for my buck. And because it's ballad, power metal type stuff, those songs go on a while. So everyone has to suffer.
So can I get the audience a reading assignment now so that they can understand how awesome elves are aside from Tolkien? So everyone go out and read The King of the Elfland's Daughter. You absolutely must do this before you discuss elves any further. So
That is
there you go.
amazing work. I can back you up. That is a fantastic book.
I have never heard of it and will now have to add another book to my reading list.
Yes.
Me too.
Apingistan is amazing.
Right. One story I always think of when I think of elves, but maybe it's more fae, is there's an old myth where a knight is taken by the Queen of the Unseelie, I think, and his lover, his human lover, goes into the woods to rescue her love, and she comes across the procession of the fae, the court of the Unseelie, and the beautiful and terrible queen amongst them, and her royal guard is the knight that was taken from this woman, and she goes up and flings her arms around him and refuses to let him go. And the Queen of the Fae turns him into a wolf, into a venomous snake, into something with lots of spikes, sets him on fire, makes him into like a squid, and turns him into all these different horrible, painful forms to hold on to. And when the sun rises, he reverts back to his original knightly form, and they live happily ever after. And that always sticks in my head when it comes to the fae and fairies and the elves, because we talk a lot about how there are good elves. I am quite a fan of the capriciousness of certain types of elf myself. But with that, it's time for the wheel. If I can remember how to work this thing. There it is. Right, you know what? Yeah, there you go. You got okay. They beat me to it. What can I say? They're well trained at this point. Ooh. Which books or authors have been most inspirational to you? Oh, we got another. Thanks for the $5 reduce, Stug. It's like the 11th track, but my third favorite. you effed up. This is an interesting one, I find. I'm going to pick people at random for this one. Well, you know what? We will start with the author.
Ooh, that's fun. Okay. Are we just talking like general, like in general, like books that we enjoy the most, or just have kind of settled with us the longest, or?
Yeah, I suppose so. Like, what book sort of what book drove you to say I could do that, or something along those lines? Like,
Well, there were a couple of books early on. There was one book, which unfortunately the name is not quite sticking with me. About it was kind of like The Secret Garden by Frances Hodges Burnett, but like a unicorn is also involved, and that kind of just stuck with me. Like it's a very similar story, but there's an actual unicorn involved in like ancient houses and things like that, and that was pretty good. Another one that I read, I don't know why, whenever I get asked this question, Hatchet. I forget the name of the author, but Hatchet that I read across in 3rd grade was another one that just kind of stuck with me. It's a story about a young boy, I think he's like 13 or something. Parents are going through a divorce, and he is flying. I forget exactly where it's over. I think it's in like Washington State or something, but someone can correct me. And the plane crashes. So he is stranded in the middle of nowhere. The pilot's dead, and he has to survive just with this hatchet that he's found in the wilderness. And it's kind of one of those books. It's like interesting that this ended up being like a 3rd grade library, because it brings up topics like about death and about survival. And there's this one part of the book that just sticks with you, where a reporter is asking him about something, and he just talks about how hungry he was. And I forget exactly, but the reporter's like, "Oh yeah, I've been hungry too." And he's like, "No, you've never been this hungry before in your life." And like that kind of the theming, especially coming from the perspective of a child, I think really stuck with me when I was like learning about like reading and storytelling and things like that at an early age.
So you came across a book with mature themes at an early age, and now you write horror.
Yeah, well, it's this. I growing up, there's not trying to. Short version of it, I was a really I loved books. I loved reading. I was reading well above age bracket, but my dad didn't want me to get into like Stephen King kind of stuff, because there's So I got into a lot of like the classic literature, a lot of Howard and a lot of Edgar Rice Burroughs, and like Poe and Lovecraft and like the older American style of stuff. So I would say in general, like the pulp, like, or like the proto pulp era stuff influenced me a lot. But going back to like the first couple books I remember reading, it would have to be Hatchet, and I think that one other book that will come to me at some point.
Probably tomorrow sometime.
Tomorrow. Yeah, that's what it is.
Dean.
Yeah.
Dean.
It's a difficult question, because there are so many authors that have inspired me. When you're young, you've got so much more time. And before the internet, I was young, and it meant I didn't have that to distract me. So I just read, and I read, and I read, and there were so many books that really hold a place in my heart. Tolkien aside, because
everyone says Tolkien.
Yeah, everybody says Tolkien, and I've got fond memories of sitting in my bedroom with a big hardcover back of Lord of the Rings, with the map pulled out, and tracing the journey and stuff like that. But
what a nerd!
I know, it's terrible, and this is before nerds were cool, so it wasn't great. Frank Herbert has been one of the authors I've really liked, and saw the film Dune before I read the book, and felt the book missed bits that the film had, and then realized, hang on, the book's done it far better than the film. But C.S. Lewis, Enid Blyton are two authors that really consumed my childhood.
C.S. Lewis was a big one for me.
Yeah. C.S. Lewis had some amazing books, not just the Narnia series, but there were a number of others. And Enid Blyton, I would lose myself with the the Adventurous Four, the Secret Seven, the
Hmm.
Famous Five, and just losing yourself into a book was something that today is so difficult to do. Because there's so much noise around you, there's so much stuff. You're trying to read a book, your phone buzzes, you're now distracted. And I think back, even and it's not really a book, it's more a cartoon, but Hergé and Tintin. My gran had all of the comic books, and I would sit there and I'd read the Journey to the Moon was my favorite one, because I'd imagine what it'd be like to be on that rocket going to the moon and actually doing that. So yeah, that's my answer.
That's a good answer.
Thank you.
Very good answer.
Oh,
Wow!
we got a Lily.
Hello, cat.
Lily.
We're gonna get a view of a cat.
There we go. That's
Hey,
Lily.
cat. Aw.
Oh, kitty.
There we go, baby.
Just barges in. Excuse me, human. Let's go to someone who's possibly not human. Bill?
I can neither confirm nor deny. You know, it's so hard to say. I've been reading since I was 3. My sister sat down with a copy of The Little Red Hen and would point at each word and tell me what each word said and do it over and over and over again. And then I'd go through and then I'd pick up another book and go through it again and again and again. And I have loved reading from that time forward. I cannot imagine a point in my life when I don't read. When I meet people who say, like, yeah, I've read 3 or 4 books, I'm like, you mean this month? Like this week?
Yeah.
But it's you know, inspirational. Oh gosh, Burroughs, Edgar Rice Burroughs, absolutely. Tarzan, John Carter of Mars, Pellucidar, the Venus books. Absolutely love Edgar Rice Burroughs stuff. Heinlein, Asimov. I mean, it's literally what is my mood today and how do I want to be inspired? You know, if I want to contemplate the horrid ugliness that is warfare, I can read David Drake.
There's a name that isn't coming out of your mouth that surprises me.
Well, bear with me. I'm getting there. If I want to get into that wonderful, lush appendix N territory, I mean, just put it on a dartboard and I'll love whatever I strike. Tolkien, Howard, A. Merritt, L. Sprague de Camp, Lovecraft, of course. Fritz Leiber, oh my God, Fritz Leiber's stuff is so delightful and baroque. It is. You can feel the textures of a good Leiber, Fafhrd, and Grey Mouser story when you hold the book. Poul Anderson, I mean, 3 Hearts and 3 Lions is the blueprint for how so much of D&D works. You know, I went through a phase of techno thrillers. I love that sort of thing. I'll read, you know, I'll read Ludlum or Clancy or something like that. I like a good cyberpunk read. You can't do any better than William Gibson's Sprawl trilogy when it comes to that sort of thing. There's a comparatively younger author who has written an absolute banger of a couple of science fiction novels, of which I am rather enamored lately. Adjust your camera contrast there, Alyssa. You're coming in a little red.
No, you made it blush.
I'm a little warm right now, but I'm good.
I'm teasing here, but no, Alyssa's stuff is magnificent, and I think everyone should read it. I've got a video review of Second Initiative coming in the not too distant future. I just plain love to read, and what inspires me what authors inspire me is entirely incumbent on how I wish to be inspired. I approach reading like I approach music. I worked in record stores for kids. That's where we used to go to buy music. We didn't click on Spotify. I worked in record stores for far too long in my younger days. And what was beaten into me in working in those record stores, everybody thinks of a record store as like, half head shop, half piles of crusty vinyl, and you just listen to hippy dippy classic rock all day. I worked in a corporate record store. I worked for a company called Musicland, but I had to listen to different music every day because I couldn't just go up to the CD player and put in Metallica and Pink Floyd and listen to that all the time. And thank God
you developed a bit of an eclectic taste.
I developed an eclectic taste. I love all music, not all examples of all music, but I love all music. And just like that with reading, I love all types of reading, not every example.
So there is the name I was thinking was one Mr. Gary Gygax.
That was my answer. I was going to be Gary Gygax, Dave Arneson, but you stole it from me, Jack. You absolutely stole it. I not fair.
That's what you get for not being here all the time.
That's almost too meta, though. That's almost too on the nose, saying Gary. I mean, Gary wrote a love letter to gamers when he wrote the Dungeon Master's Guide. That is an endlessly rereadable book, and it's one of the things that I decry about later versions of D&D. They're fantasy stereo instructions, but the Dungeon Master's Guide is this delightful Byzantine.
Byzantine is the word. Gygaxian.
Through. I mean, it is the secret tour guide to the city of Greyhawk, and I find Gary's game prose, if you will, to be just infinitely entertaining. Now, Gary wrote some actual fantasy novels, which I don't think are as good as his writing game and game related stuff. But they're still entertaining pulpy reads. If you don't skip to someone else, Jack, I won't stop talking about how much I love to read and what I love to read. So please,
Meredith, what was your answer?
I don't know. I'm just gonna pout now. No, actually, Delver answered a lot of things. He hit like almost everything, and if I wax poetically, it'll be the same thing. So instead, I'm going to be very, very brief. So aside from Gary Gygax and Arneson, which are awesome, and the DMG is why we are here. We would not be here if it weren't for the greatest role-playing game of all time, AD&D First Edition. That would just not happen. But I will say, I'll get personal. And that way you guys can know me as a person. I know y'all want to. So anyway, what really changed me in college was reading Dante's Divine Comedy and realizing that I too could write myself into any story and be worshipped for doing it. So that was an amazing revelation. And that's when I realized how truly important to the world I was. So I had to switch my major from boring business stuff and pre-law to literature. And that really helped me quite a bit. And that's why I'm here, and you guys can be entertained. Other than that, modern writers, I love Alyssa. She's great. I also like Terry Mancourt. Yeah, I've read her stuff. I owe her an Amazon review, and I have for months, and I feel horrible. I also like Terry Mancourt, the Spellmonger stuff, because you get the full. I'm a fan of, when I'm not playing the greatest role-playing game system of all time, AD&D, I do play a slightly inferior system called Axe, which is the whole Adventure of Conqueror Kings thing. And the Spellmonger books are great because you take a mage who's just kind of like a mage, adventure level mage, and he works his way up to being like a freaking mage emperor, essentially, but still working with the politics. So you see him grow into these political roles, and it's like 500 books. So it keeps me entertained a lot. So I will go with those for now.
Brilliant. As for me, I will also keep it a little short and sweet. Obviously, Tolkien played a large role in my childhood. I am actually severely dyslexic, technically. diagnosed as well, so I'm not just saying it. And I remember in school, I could not get words to stay still on the page. I was very little at the time, mind. I could speak and speak and speak. No issues with that. I was talking from, I think, before I was 2. But dyslexia was a pain in the ass. They had like these film sheets that were orange, and they would put them over to Dean. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You've gone through all this.
Mhm.
And they would try and make the word stay still for me that way. Could not make it work. Got very frustrated. Was told to sit on my own a lot of the time because it was frustrating the hell out of me at school. I was a bit of a problem child because of it for the first few years of school. I think it's just because I was so much smarter than everyone else, and I don't say that as tooting my own horn. I mean, those people were dim as shit. Eventually, my nan, may she rest in peace, bought me a little Game Boy Color and a copy of Pokemon Gold version. And boy, oh boy, did I really want to know what the story was in that game, because I love Pokemon. I was glued to the TV early on a Saturday morning watching Pokemon, and that was my thing. Loved it. But I couldn't make the words stay still, and I got really upset, and I sat down and I forced those words to stay still. And it was as if a switch went off in my head. I went from not being able to read to just voraciously consuming literature as a young boy, probably from the age of sort of 4 or 5 onwards. And I was just consuming book after book after book, to the point where I will sometimes pick up a book, go, this looks interesting, read the first couple pages and go, oh yeah, I read this. 2 or 3 books that I remember a lot, and I think about a lot, that still inspire me today. One is The Hobbit. I read that very, very young age, multiple times, I believe, which is odd for me, because usually once I've read a book, I can't go back to it. Once I've read it, that's it. I would say The Lord of the Rings, but I didn't read that in its entirety until a few years ago. It was always jumping around more than just sitting down and reading.
Hobbit's better anyway.
There was a series of books that I only ever owned the first one. I do own them all now, but I never really got around to the other 2. And much like you, Alyssa, this is a book I probably should not have been reading at the age I was. And it's called The Gates of Rome. It is a historical fiction following the young life of Julius Caesar from boy into sort of young adulthood, the first one anyway. And you see him find a dead raven at the start after being covered in mud, and they try and give it a funeral pyre burial, and they end up cooking it because they don't do it right. And you go from that to he gets his first kiss from a slave girl in a barn after he saves her life in a slave revolt. He watches his dad die. His gladiator teacher, his fighting teacher, nearly kills him. And he's still convalescing when he stumbles out into a slave revolt, gladius in hand, and starts helping defend his villa. You see the political intrigue of Rome in all of its gory details. You hear about the non-consensual stuff that happens to his first love, this slave girl, throughout the years. So he wasn't always there to protect her. You hear about him cascading into depression and going to all these Roman-style parties with no clothes on to try and drown out the depression. And then he finds Cornelia, falls madly in love, marries her, everything's looking up, and then he gets forced out of the city as his uncle is murdered. And there's all of these themes that sort of go into it. And I think for me, that, like the romance, the sex, that kind of plays into it. The political intrigue, the backstabbing, the bravery and heroism taking center stage around these things which orbit. So all those things kind of orbit the story of the hero, the heroic act, and the idea of 2 very close friends, almost brothers, parting ways and then meeting on less than good terms again. It's the hero's journey, and it is a journey of boyhood to manhood and all that it entails and all of its messy details. And that story is always kind of stuck with me. And one that I read in my teens, The Dwarves by Marcus Heitz, because who doesn't love a story about...
Is that the one that got translated into English from like German?
Yep.
I had that one in my library for the longest time. I kept trying to read it, and I don't know if it was like a at the time it just wasn't clicking for me, but it always seemed pretty interesting.
I enjoyed it a lot. It's I quote what he says in his foreword a lot, and that is when people say they want traditional dwarves, they mean Tolkien's dwarves. And again, we go straight back to this grand tradition of fantasy, which I will have to bring a couple of you on because I want to talk about how, much like Catholic tradition, the fantastical genre is a tradition in and of itself, and the reason that modern fantasy doesn't quite mesh so well with what we expect from fantasy is because it comes actually out of a different postmodernist tradition rather than the tradition that has come prior to what we have today. So I think there's been a disconnect. We've been sold a bill of goods, but that's a conversation for another time.
Wait. No, we have to talk about.
Help me on.
Oh, but we've got more Doom. That is an entire show topic.
Yeah.
So we will get onto that
true.
another time.
Yeah.
But this whole copies of copies. Yes, please have that show. I'll show up again.
Yes, I will have that show. I will probably.
You could not keep him away from that show. I'm pretty sure.
No, I will harass you constantly.
Right, we have time, I believe, for one, maybe two more spins of the wheel.
Here we go.
So, here we go. That was a bit half-hearted. Oh. Which character class would you gladly cast into the fire? We'll make this a quick fire round. I know exactly which class I would gladly cast into the fire immediately, and that's the Bard. Goodbye.
How did I know you were about to say that?
I've known too many bards. Dean.
Warlock.
Warlock. That's a good second choice. Hazel.
Anything psionics related. I think it's stupid. I think it doesn't fit into most settings and that kind of thing. I think it adds a weird layer of complexity to like it doesn't fit with pretty much anything else. Like Monk is like borderline. I like Monk. I think he can fit in the tradition, especially if you look at like the Friar Tux and bringing that kind of aspect in. But psionics to me just never fit. Like I don't understand why they tried to put it in there.
It was controversial from the start. Also, we've got a very interesting choice from Damien in the chat here. Barbarian.
Get out.
Marinus, quick fire.
Everything in AD&D is perfect, so there's no reason to remove anything from it. But everything that's not in AD&D should be thrown into the fire. First edition, anything that's not in there, burn it. Well, yeah.
You might come to regret
maybe bring back Assassin just because, Assassin.
Delver, quick fire.
I don't know how Marinus and I are not hanging out all the time because everything he says is right.
He's just simping for you the entire time.
I will say that I like.
It's the blue wizard and the gray wizard. They're back.
Holy shit!
When you say character classes, I mean I'm thinking of the standard AD&D pre-unearthed arcana. So if you ask me something that's got to go out of that out of first edition AD&D, barbarians. Not the barbarian is not a class. Barbarian is a social concept. You can have
barbarian is a way of life.
It is. It
Do you
really
play barbarians a lot, Alyssa?
My first character I ever played was a barbarian.
I think if I was to leave you and Vix alone, because she plays a lot of barbarians, if I was to leave you and Vix alone, I think you two would get on like a house on fire.
Yeah. Barbarians are my favorite. I think barbarians, warlocks, and bards are the typical. So basically all of the characters I typically go to by this
we've thrown out.
We've thrown into the fire. You guys
cast it into the fire, Isildur.
So mean. Anyways,
right. We will go on to the next spin. Delva, barbarian was your answer, yeah?
Barbarian is my answer, yes.
Brilliant. We now have time for another spin. You know the drill. What we got? How do you prepare a perfect cup of tea? I think this is Vicky's one. I've made a video on this on X a while back. I come from a very working class background. So my perfect cup of tea is you take your mug, Doesn't have to be warm because it's likely cold where you are, out on whatever building site you're on. You put your tea bag in. Has to be Yorkshire tea. Nothing else will suffice. You put your 1/2 teaspoon of sugar in, not too much because it'll ruin it. You then put your hot water in, and then without taking the tea bag out, because remember, you're on a building site. This is a builder's cup of tea. You're busy. You put your little bit of milk, like tiniest amount of milk, in with it, tea bag still in. Give it a stir. You go off to do whatever you're going to do. Could be a minute, could be half an hour. You come back, and you've either got a lovely cup of tea, or you've got stew, and you drink it regardless. That's how you drink tea. Anyone else? Do Americans?
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this. So first,
this one's now cold, by the way. So
no. First, you find the greatest necromantic volume you can get, right? And then you spend years training as a necromancer, and then you go to the grave of your beloved Mima, and you dig up her remains. You perform whatever dark rites are necessary to bring her back. And then you have her prepare some good sweet tea for you. And then you drink that sweet tea of necromantic love. That is how you do it.
I'm really glad you...
Okay.
Alyssa, here's a horror thing you can use.
All right. So speaking as the borderline Yankee in the room, here's how you prepare a cup of tea. None of this milk, none of this sugar, none of this like extra crap. You get your hot water going. You put two of the tea bags in there for extra kick. You pour it in. You let it steep. You forget about it for about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Then you come back. It's lukewarm, but by God, you're drinking it anyways, and you just chug it down. That is no milk, no sugar.
That is the spirit of Builder's Brew, but over there. I like that. Dean's having an aneurysm. Dean, you right there?
I'm fine. I just
I'm not a sweet tea drinker.
You're sweet enough, darling. You're sweet enough.
It's okay. Listen, everyone can be wrong about things. only I am the right one about everything, right? It's just me who gets everything right.
Right.
You're all wrong. No.
See, Dean's wrong about me being wrong, and that's okay.
Sorry, you're wrong.
Hold on. No, bring it back. Bring back that lovely chest.
There we go. Always right.
Oh boy, he's got us there. That was a bit of a
sorry. You take your cup, you put your tea bag in it, you then drown it in milk, then you put your hot water on. You then stir it a bit, but just till it goes off milk color. Then the tea bag comes out, and you drink that. Love it.
All right.
Hey guys, I want to bring up one thing though. I got Paladin and Steve to agree with necromancy. Just saying, the Paladin's good with necromancy.
Steve, you've lost your powers again. You're promoted to Fighter Steve. Change your name again. Fighter Steve.
I just want to say, when it comes around to me, I dropped you an image that's very important when it's my turn, and I don't want it missed.
Okay, I'm opening. Did we finish with Dean, or did we interrupt Dean?
No. I said my piece.
You said your piece. It's already got out of my head. I can't remember what you just said after the milk. I just blocked it out. All right. Well, I guess that makes it your piece then, Delver. I suppose I need to put this.
Y'all listen up. Y'all listen up. You get your 5 or 6 bags of Louisiana red tea, and you put them in that pitcher right there. You dump hot water over it. You fill it about halfway up with hot water. You let it steep for not too long, maybe 10, 15 minutes. You fill it up the rest of the way with water. You let it steep a little bit more. You put a glug or two of real lemon and a cup, maybe a cup and a half of diamond sugar. You stir it up. You pour it over a pint glass of ice and you drink it down. That is tea.
I will say that is an excellent substitute if you're not willing to do necromancy.
Well, I don't know about necromancy.
That's like close to my Mimos tea. Just gotta go in
that. It's got to go in that pitcher, though. It's got to go in that pitcher. If you grew up in the South in the 1970s and 1980s, it's got to go in that pitcher.
It does, but it needs the love, and that's why the necromancy is necessary, because grandma's love, man.
Well, I'm just talking about if you're hot coming off the yard when you've been cutting the grass. So,
Well, that's the problem here. We're not usually not hot here because look what you've done to Damien. Also, I noticed a new name, Crystal Parker. Welcome to the stream. Before we go on to the next thing, ladies and gents, because we've got time for more now. Do like and share the stream and subscribe if you're not. We're actually steaming along to that 1,000 subscriber mark. We actually had 2,703 people, I believe it was, follow us over on X over the month of July, which is insane because the entirety of that was based purely on elf girls in bikinis. I know why you're here. You know why you're here, but now you're trapped, and now you have to have some education. Let's replace the screen sharing back with the Wheel of Doom.
Doom.
You're a bit early. Now you can go. Oh, I didn't match.
Doom.
Doom.
Oh,
Doom.
yes. The answer is just yes.
What?
Vampires.
Yeah.
Has modern day fiction ruined them?
yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
unquestionably, yes.
Yeah.
Even the stuff that people say is good is not great.
No, it's,
They're
it-
monsters. That they're
I-
not. They're not
no,
there
like-
for love.
Even Midnight Mass, which everyone was like talking about. I watched it. I was both the husband and I were laughing by the end of the last episode. Like, bunch of villagers willingly like eat their fellow villager, and we're supposed to feel sympathy for them because they sing Kumbaya as they all get burned alive by the sun's rays. Like,
But you forget
Oh.
how righteous other people were. I can't say anything else.
I would like to quickly give a shout out to the damnedest bastard. Hello, sir. Welcome to the stream.
my favorite Canadian.
He's Canadian?
Yeah.
Man, he's so gung-ho, I just kind of figured he was American.
Well, I mean, I assumed he was from Alberta, but I won't
Right.
say any more from that.
That was a very easy one.
Yeah.
Let's spin the wheel again and see if we get something a little bit more. What are we gonna get? Oh! Who wins in a fight, Aragorn or Jaime Lannister? This has been going around a bit lately. I think we're all going to agree on who wins this fight.
Aragorn.
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 I also feel like the people who lose the fight is the reader every
Hey.
time. When it comes to Martin's work, it's always the reader who loses.
Very true.
I have a little video planned on moral grayness in literature.
Jack, you've gotten lots of super chats today, and you're already monetized on YouTube. So let me just say, fuck George R.R. Martin.
I don't particularly like a lot of his choices myself. I can give him kudos for writing the bloody book. I've got the book. I've opened it, and I quickly put it down again. The problem with his style of writing is I think it comes at... I was talking a little bit earlier on about the similarities between the mythology and traditional fantasy stuff, right? And how postmodernist, deconstructionist is not actual
The
fantasy.
wild husband sighting.
Hello,
sorry.
wild husband.
That is
He's
definitely
so-
not a Sasquatch.
That is not, no.
Yeah.
Um,
You see his butt right there? That's a really cute butt.
That's how you know your woman loves you.
Anyway, sorry, you were talking about George R. R. Martin and
Yes.
moral grade.
So
Listen,
you remember earlier on, I spouted some nonsense about how there is a sort of a difference between the tradition of fantasy and the fantasy that is given to us today, which comes out of a different tradition, that being deconstructionist,
Trash.
postmodernist.
That being
Yes, yes, but that doesn't sound as clever as mine. The reason this might ruffle feathers when I eventually decide to sort through thoughts and make this video. I think that Game of Thrones, whilst I enjoy the kind of historical narrative of it in terms of the families and the wars, I think that the Game of Thrones stuff is actually not out of the fantasy tradition. I think the Game of Thrones stuff is actually out of the postmodernist deconstructionist tradition, but because it is so closely aping the fantasy that we all know and love, the natural story arc wants to go into this aspirational fantasy, which is what fantasy is, either low or high. It's aspirational as a whole. It's about heroes and slaying monsters and bravery and things on the whole of it, all the way through human history. But George R.R. Martin's style is to subvert audience expectations and turn that on its head. But the arc he has set up with Jon Snow and all the rest of it is for the completion of the fantastical narrative, the defeat of the enemy, the return of the king, and of the restoring of the kingdom. That is where the story naturally wants to proceed, and that's why he's not written it, because his tradition cannot abide by that. And you guys can feel free to tell me if I'm right or wrong.
No, you're right. I just had to cover my mouth and laugh when you said George R.R. Martin and completion in the same breath.
Hey,
something about his quivering feet mask.
My biggest beef with Martin isn't necessarily what he writes, because there's trash fantasy everywhere. Like,
I write quite a bit of it.
Yeah, but like I've kind of always had the opinion, especially since I've become a writer, that like whatever you want to write, like there's kind of room in the fantasy genre for different things. My biggest problem is he's effectively ruined doorstop long series fantasy in like the traditional publishing world because he refuses to complete it. Because now it's set up this reader expectation that, oh, do I really want to get invested in this long-term series if there's a chance that it's never going to get done? So
or
he's
a la Wheel of Time, the bloke might die.
Yeah. So he's effectively cratered a lot of writers from both an indie and traditional perspective being able to write the way they want to in a successful pattern. So that's my biggest beef with him. I honestly wish he'd rather just come out and say, I'm not finishing the series at this point, rather than keep dragging people along. But it's more of a, it should have come out a while ago, it should have finished a while ago, but now he's kind of wrecked the landscape, and that's going to do damage to the writing world for...
You've hit it right on the head for Christmas.
It's probably going to be another 30 years before the damage is undone.
What about the rest of y'all? See? I can do it too.
Correct word, yes.
It makes me feel horrible, but I did it.
All y'all is the next step.
Join us. Join us.
In fact, Delva, do you think I'm sort of on... I'm sort of right with my observation there?
Just regarding
different streams of tradition.
Well, I kind of want to step away from the vitriol about George R.R. Martin. I think there's different approaches, but I sort of want to save my ammo for the discussion about where traditional fantasy comes from versus modern fantasy. I will say that I agree with you, and that's I don't want to.
That's because I'm correct.
Spoil anything, and this is a case where I definitely agree with you.
Well, does anyone else, Marinus, Dean, you got anything you want to say on this point, or should we spin the wheel again?
Let's spin the wheel again, because this is a much larger conversation, and I will get fancy with literature degree stuff. And
I also went to school.
Mrs. Fancy Pants went to school.
Oxford wasn't good enough for you. You had to go off at Barnsley.
I'm now basically pregnant, cooking barefoot in the kitchen. So see where that got me.
I dropped out of just quick story time. I dropped out of my university degree for multiple reasons. One of the big reasons was I was sat in one of the beginning lectures, and I was doing creative writing. I was sat in one of the beginning lectures, and an old lady got up on the podium, and she started talking about how bad stereotypes were, except in the case of white men, because we're evil. And I think that is where I started to consider seriously leaving university, and so I did. Let's spin the wheel of doom. Oh!
Not quite. Oh, it is.
Gold
Oh.
Destiny.
Oh,
Well,
I
dear.
sir,
think
let's,
we have an expert on the panel about this, right?
yeah, let's
I think we
bring
might
him
have
up.
an expert. Yeah.
Vicky, I
Untold
hope you're there with the
Destiny.
squirt gun if he mucks this up.
Oh God, no. So, I think it's quite nice because we started with Crom, which is Delver's, child, and we're potentially ending with my child, which is
We will
Untold
be.
Destiny. So, I think this is fantastic. You probably have heard Untold Destiny time and time again mentioned on Jack's channel, but it is built on what I felt were the classic roots of role playing. But I've reimagined a lot of the mechanics. So Marinus and Delver, you can cover your ears when I continue now, because there's so much I loved about classic D&D, classic systems, but I wanted to run something that felt easy to do, but had a lot of depth, felt natural, had a good flow, and Untold Destiny was born from that. So if you're after a kind of classic feel for fantasy, if you're after a system that is streamlined, if you're after flashing images on screen and,
Sorry.
It's okay. It is, at its heart, it is classic fantasy role-playing, but I took and reimagined a lot of the mechanics that we take as read, things like armor classes and stuff like that, and just felt, is there a better way to do this? Is there a better way to immerse people? Through my years of role-playing, I've looked at how players react around tables, where their eyes begin to glaze over, and I've said, right, I need to address that in a role-playing system. So Untold Destiny, it's dead easy. It just uses D20s. You add a number, and you've got to get 20 or higher. The number of D20s you roll depends on how skilled you are. So the more skilled you are, the more D20s you roll, which creates this consistently doing better. Then you could be incredibly skilled. You roll your 120, get a low number, and then someone who's just lucky rolls an 18 or 19 and beats you. And it just feels cheap. So the system is built around this. The better you get, the more D20s you roll. You pick your highest, you add your numbers to it. The only number you add really to that is your attribute. So it's nice and simple, it's dead easy. But then when you get to do things in combat, you can interrupt your opponent, you can react to stuff going on outside your turn. The only limitation is how much stamina you have, which is the kind of glue to combat. It's one of these systems you really have to play, and we're going to be doing one shot soon. And it's hard to describe. We're going to have some video series coming out talking about character creation, talking about how the whole system comes together. It's based, as I said, very much on the classic system. So you pick a class, and that is your class. You don't get to multi-class. You don't get to do any of this. Your class is typically front-loaded with a lot of your abilities, with others coming out as you progress. They're down certain archetypes, so all fighters have similar abilities, but then are slightly different. Some might be spellcasters. All rogues follow a similar path, but again have different roles they can perform. Your priest is I loved, and this is where the classic comes from. I loved the idea of spell spheres that second edition had, and it's that whole thing of I follow a deity, a god, a guardian, as we call them. Why should I have the same selection of powers that my fellow friend has when he concentrates on agriculture and healing and I concentrate on battle and warfare? No, our powers should be very different from each other. And we've really taken that approach. And on the wizard side, 4 schools of magic. So I found 8 was just too much. You diluted the powers. And our specialists break the rules of magic for their schools. So your invoker can cast a fireball and eliminate any of their friends from the area of that fireball. A summoner is much better able to deal with the psychic, the ethereal feedback if one of their summoned creatures is taken out, and they don't have the extra stamina cost of commanding them in battle. The system is now done. We're just doing a review of the Guardians, and we're going to be printing out some copies later on at the end of this month. It's amazing. That's all I'm going to say. It's the game I've always wanted to run. And Jack, is it a game that you love playing?
Well, I will jump in here to say, as someone that has now spent numerous hours playing Untold Destiny, it truly is a marvel. It has evolved and left the realm of traditional D&D to the point of being its own thing. So it is no longer a clone or a copy. It is fresh, and it definitely feels so. But you can sense that the roots are back in the day. It comes, as I say, out of a tradition of fantasy. I am very much looking forward to getting certain members of the panel perhaps into a one-shot or into the campaign we've got going on. We do have a campaign unfolding at Pleasant. It's very pleasant.
It is.
And you can go and watch that on my channel if you like, ladies and gentlemen. But no, Untold Destiny, watch that space. There is a spark there, I believe, that might take things by storm. And I can't wait to see it do so. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now got ourselves, we're all mucked up again, there we are. We have now got ourselves to the point where I usually start trying to wind the show in a little bit. So we're going to go through a little bit of plugs. But before we do so, if you have not yet, please do like the stream, subscribe if you haven't, and already, and do share the stream with someone as well, because it's always appreciated when you do. And as I go through my esteemed guests here, do make sure you click on the links that are going to appear in chat, and give them a follow, give them a subscribe, etc., etc. And I think it's only proper that we go for ladies first.
Aw, shucks. Well, as our two wizards on the panel have mentioned, I write books. My most recent one came out July the 19th. It's the sequel to my first sci-fi thrillers. That's really cool. I also want to plug the Battleborn Indiegogo campaign that's going on right now. You guys probably have seen me post it a couple of times recently. It just started and it's already 70% backed. It is a classic sword and sorcery zine that features the first issues planning on featuring our own Eric Wagg and the late Howard Andrew Jones, and a couple other great, fantastic writers. I think C.L. Jones as well is going to be in that one. But yours truly, if the backing continues, is going to be featured in later issues. So I know, me involved with issues. What's that all about? But yeah, I'm really excited to be part of the project. I think that the people working on it are just fantastic. So if you haven't seen me post it, and don't worry, I'm not going to post it all the time, just on every...
I have linked it in chat.
Thank you. I'm excited for the project, and I hope you guys
mentioned that they would show up on stream. They did actually message me, and I've only just seen it. They messaged me on July 23rd. Whoops, I will fix that.
Yeah. No, Sean's fantastic, and he's been in the industry for a while. I believe he worked on Anvil for a stretch, so I think he'd be a fascinating person to talk to on stream at some point.
Maybe especially for the traditions of fantasy.
Yeah.
That would be
but yeah, that's my plug. So I'm just going to sit back in my chair.
Babe, if you want another spin of the wheel, someone needs to give me a donation of at least $10 dues in a single hit, and then we'll do one more before we end. But for now, Marinus, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was trying to bring up Rumble, but fine, someone else is going to have to do it. So yes, on Ets, I can be found at Couple of Adventurers, and that is where you will get the absolute best after action reports. I will make you care about my characters with my short stories. You will enjoy it. They are the best short stories that are available for free on Substack. I guarantee it. Other than that, the bros, of which I am one, are about to be starting a new bro thing, and this is why Delver doesn't like me, even though he thinks he does. So we're going to be starting a BroXT playthrough of Brosier, so that should be lots of fun as far as post on Ets, the same way that happened when we did the Diplomacy by Ets thing.
Nice.
So we'll see if I'm able to hang another pope.
Oh man, the Catholic in me needs to kick you. Yes, as Vix has said, Stug my hero, because Stug has not said anything. He's just $10 dropped in the chat. Well, thank you, sir. We will do another spin of the wheel before we go. Greetings from Orc City. Oh, we don't take too kindly to your kind round
John Douglas. Told you needed a doorman out there, Jack.
Steve, what are you doing?
Right. Thank you very much for the super chat indeed. I struggled to find your profile for a second there, Mariners. Dean!
Yes, so follow me on Twitter at Hill_Jowett. And on there you get links to all the other social media stuff we have. As I said, we got some great stuff coming out imminently. So just watch the space. Follow me for more.
Indeed, I've also posted the
Everite games.
Twitter and the YouTube in there as well.
Fantastic.
I'm just good
Thank
like
you,
that.
Jack. You are wonderful.
Delver. Who doesn't know Delver?
It's true.
Senpai.
Well, look, man, I'm just an old guy that likes first edition AD&D above any and all others for reasons I've explained before.
In perpetuity.
I've got a YouTube channel at the Dungeon Delver. You can find me at _Dungeon Delver on Twitter if you want to follow me over there. Wrote a little piece of computer software to help you make characters, and I'm working on another one to help you run your campaign. But that's a little bit that's a little bit out. I try and have as many of the veterans of TSR on. I've got a great lineup coming in the next few weeks. I'm gonna have Harold Johnson, Mike Mornard is gonna be on, probably Alan Hammock, and anybody else who'll sit still in front of their camera with a computer for an hour or two. I'll bring them on, and we'll talk some history. And I do that 5 nights a week, every week, sometimes 6. But it's not just classic D&D I talk about. It's other topics that grab my interest and cool creators that I like to have on. I mean, so if that sounds like something you'd like to do, then come on down and throw me a subscribe, and I appreciate it.
Do indeed, because Bill was one of the inspirations for me starting this show.
Don't blame that shit on me.
Isn't Bill supposed to be doing something else tonight too? Aren't you on another show tonight, Bill?
Yeah, Dundermoose is having me over on his show tonight.
Nice.
Wanted to talk to me, so I decided I'd mix it up a little because my usual co-host on Wednesdays is out tonight. So
the Nega Kyle.
The Nega Kyle, yeah, the Nega Kyle is out tonight doing early morning dad stuff because he's down in Australia. But
with all the spiders.
So yeah, and sharks and box jellyfish and dingoes and
and all the rest of the horrible things. By the way, just to remind everyone, we're going to do one more spin of the wheel. So you still have time to punch in billsylvie@gmail.com or bsylvie@gmail.com and use code JACK for $5 off your order of Crom, which is the program that Bill has created to help create and organize your first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons characters. You have until the end of the stream to email him and use code JACK. I am not getting any revenue from this. Right. Well, Stug, $10 dues came in at the request of my wife, who doesn't want me to spend any time with her, so she wants the stream to continue. I've closed my wheel. Hold on, let me get my wheel back.
The wheel is thrown to the ground.
I have broken the wheel.
Lights start rolling and take you right back around.
Luckily, it saves all of the things, so I don't have to worry about things not working. Here we go. Here it comes. Remember your training. Here we are. Right, here we go. Oh God! Oh no!
Oh no!
We're not finishing
Wait,
anytime soon.
Does that mean that we have to explain why he likes it,
No, this
or
is.
does he have to explain why?
That would be more
likes it?
fun. I think we should do that.
All right, I'll go first. Bill likes the Dungeon Delver likes first edition AD&D the most because it was the first, the best, the original, primordial, and his senpai Gary Gygax made it. There you go.
The Dungeon Delver likes first edition AD&D because it's cool, and that's probably the one to start with. And it has, I don't know. I think he just thinks it's perfect, so I love that for him, honestly.
Marinus?
Bill loves AD&D first edition because it is perfect. There's nothing he thinks. Now, if he would join us in 1-1 supremacy too, that would be even better.
Kiss my ass, kid.
All of that goodwill gone in a moment.
You are now at war.
War was declared. Also, because Human Paladins is the wife's.
Thank you, Vixen.
Dean?
Yeah, Bill loves first edition AD&D because it is the template by which everything else has been built, and it's also got really nice pictures.
It has.
Do I
The
get to go, Jack, or
You do, but 60 seconds or less.
60 seconds? To me, first edition AD&D is Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath. It's not perfect. It's copied here and there and dabs in other places, swaths, but nothing has brought it together like first edition AD&D. Other editions are too clean for me. AD&D is the edition that mentions drugs and torture parlors and drow cities, blood magic. It has the naked chicks in the book, the demons on the covers, the blood dripping off of swords. It's the ones written in High Gygaxian, the one that dares you to take a bite of the apple and see eternity. AD&D has Tomb of Horrors, the first and best, baby. No save or take damage here. Your characters will fucking die if you mess up. Against the Giants, White Plume Mountain. It's the it's the D&D of Greyhawk, the proper Greyhawk, not a generic fantasy setting occasionally and blandly filled in by a revolving door of authors. It's the D&D of assassins guilds, of thieves, not rogues, and half-orcs, because, man, Gary told us that orcs are fecund and sent us to the Websters to find out what fecund meant. It's where the black magic is and always will be forevermore.
All right, mate. With that, do me an outro because you've got the energy for it.
Me? Give you an outro? I just gave you an outro.
All right.
I mean, that's true. That
Bill
was pretty
failed the
good.
call to arms. The beacons were lit. Rohan did not answer. Boys and girls, if you have not already, do go and follow and subscribe. I've got his outro music still going because he was talking. Hold on, let me fix that. Let's. I don't want to get copyright struck by the dungeon.
Yeah,
Bell.
you will. You will absolutely get copyright struck for that.
If you have not already, do go and subscribe and follow and do all the things for all the people that are on the panel today because they have given up their time to come here and do this show and be with you for an hour and a half or so and give some incredibly fun, chillaxed content. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. I do appreciate it very much so. Have a lovely rest of the week. Not long to go.